For the third part of creating this poem, I'd like us to think about editing. So you've done all the hard work of getting the words on the page. Now let's think about how we can edit it and make it even better than what it is already. So one of the first things I like to think about in editing is if you've used any phrases that are overused or a bit cliche. So maybe there's something that you hear all the time, like red as a rose or red as blood. So think about how can you change that to make it more unique or more specific to you. So instead of saying red as a rose, you could say red as Auntie's smeary lipstick. Or instead of red as blood, maybe you could say red as warning signs. So have a look through your poem and see if there's any phrases that you think, oh, I've heard that before and that's a bit overused. And how can you edit it to make it sound a bit more new and a bit more fresh? Next, have a think about if there's any words that you can take out, because there might be something else in the sentence that means the same thing and you don't need it there. So for example, you might say, the big, gigantic buildings towering over the city. So in that sentence, big and gigantic are pretty much saying the same thing. And if it's towering over the city, then you know that they're big or gigantic. So you could take out big and take out gigantic and just say the buildings towering over the city. That makes it a little bit more streamlined and direct. Next, think about whether you can change the order of the poem. So maybe there's a line in the middle that would work really well as a starting line to open up your poem. Or maybe there's a great line somewhere else that could be a really strong ending. So have a play around with it and see how you can change the order so things come in a different place. And with list poems, this is really easy to do because it should make sense in pretty much any order. So just have a play around with it and see how you can change it. You can also think about removing some of the I ams. So originally, I asked you to write a list poem where every line starts with I am. But to diversify the way that you're bringing this in, you can remove the I ams in certain places. So there's a bit more difference in how the poem is appearing and how the audience are hearing it when they're listening to you. I would also recommend reading your poem aloud and thinking about how it sounds. If there's a word or a phrase that you're stumbling over when you're trying to speak it, that could be a sign that you need to edit it down and see if there's any unnecessary words you can take out or a way that you can change the structure to make it a bit easier to say. You can also give your poem to a friend to read because they might be able to see something in the poem that you can't. Maybe there's something that doesn't quite make sense or something that could be said in a better way, and your friend can help you see where those places are. But ultimately, the decision is yours on how you edit your poem and how you bring it to the best form of itself, because this is your poem and you are the poet. So have fun, play around with it, and enjoy writing your poem.